Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be doing a what's new at the drugstore with a bunch of new makeup releases. If you're new here, this is a series on my channel. I have a playlist that I will link down below, and I post these videos once or twice a month where I go over all of the new releases at the drugstore that I'm really excited about, and I give you my thoughts after trying them for a few days on my own. So this is not a first impression, it's more of a review. So if you like drugstore makeup and you enjoy this video, definitely give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. But with that, let's go ahead and get right into it. All right, so the first product that I have been testing is this new Maybelline Express Brow. This comes in 6 shades and retails for $8. I bought the shade medium brown, and it's a little bit warm for me. I think there's a shade called soft brown, which looks a little bit more ashy, that if I was going to repurchase this, I would probably go with that shade instead of this one. So if you like a softer, more neutral brown, then I would go with that ash color. If you like more of a little bit of a warm tone in your brows, then this medium brown is a good shade. I really like this. I really like the pencil side. It's got that kind of triangular point to it, and it's super forgiving. It's super easy to use. It goes on really smoothly and really naturally and not too pigmented. Then the powder side is a really fast and easy way to just fill in once you've gotten the shape that you want. You fill it in with the powder rather than doing those hair-like strokes, and it still looks natural, but it's a lot faster. The only downside to this, you guys, if you've been following me for a while, know what's coming, is I have to have a spoolie. I have to comb through my brows before I fill them in, and then I have to comb through them after I fill them in. Not a deal breaker, because most of us either have a brow pencil in our collection with a spoolie that we can use, or a standalone spoolie. Whenever I'm testing new products, I like to only keep those products downstairs on my vanity so that there's not a ton of makeup on my vanity. So this was the only brow product I had downstairs, and I was filling in my brows, realized I didn't have a spoolie, and actually used my teasing brush for my hair through my brows because I was like, I have to brush through them. So like I said, that's the only downside, is that it's not just an all-in-one product if you're like me and need to comb through your brows. But other than that, this one gets a big thumbs up. All right, next up is a new eyeshadow palette by Juvia's Place. They launched 2 different new ones. This one's called the Blushed Rose, and they also launched one called the Rustic palette, which is more like orangey, bronzy tones, whereas this one is more pink tones, which for some reason I've been really attracted to lately. Retails for $14. You get 6 shades, really large pan sizes. And the quality of these eyeshadows, you guys, is incredible. It's not surprising because it's Juvia's Place, but I got a similar eyeshadow palette from Juvia's Place. I think it was like the taupes. I don't remember what it was called, but it looked just like this, and it was more taupey colors, and I wasn't impressed with the mattes, and I wanted to give it another try because I had a lot of people in the comments saying that there were other 6-pan eyeshadow palettes by Juvia's Place that they didn't have any trouble with. And when I went on Ulta's website, that one that I got, the taupe one, has like 2.5 or 3 stars, and all the other ones have 5 stars. So I'm like, okay, something must have just gone wrong with that batch for some reason, because this one is absolutely stunning. The shimmers in here go on beautifully with a brush or with your fingers. I would say they're slightly more pigmented with your fingers, but either way they work beautifully. You get a lot of product, and the mattes are what I had trouble with the other palette that I have from Juvia's Place, and I had no trouble with the mattes in this palette. Super pigmented, super blendable, so another big thumbs up. 2 winners so far. Next up, I debated on whether or not I should put this in this video because I can't find it anymore. I bought this a couple of weeks ago. I've made a reel on it on Instagram already, and after I posted the reel, people were like, I can't find it anywhere. So hopefully by the time I put this video up, it's more readily available, but if not, I will definitely keep you guys posted. And it is another eyeshadow palette that I am blown away by. This is by the brand Kiko Milano. It's the Dolce Diva eyeshadow palette. And once I open this, tell me what this immediately reminds you of. Does it not just scream Charlotte Tilbury? Like, this looks like it is Charlotte Tilbury. So when I saw it online, I was like, I have to have that because the Charlotte Tilbury eyeshadows are so expensive, but she makes some of the most beautiful quads and color collections, and this did not disappoint. The mattes in here are good mattes. They are pigmented, they blend out, nothing negative to say there, but where this palette shines is these shimmer shades. You guys, I mean, they are buttery soft, so pigmented. Just look at that. I cannot recommend this palette enough, and I am so sad because I was so excited to make this video specifically for this eyeshadow palette, and now I can't find it anywhere. So I don't want to spend too much time talking about it because I don't know if or when it's coming back, but if it does come back, get your hands on it. I'm telling you, you will not be disappointed. If you want to see what it looks like on, in my last video where I did my #1 pick from each drugstore makeup brand, that's what I was wearing, was this eyeshadow palette. Ugh, I so hope it comes back. I really do. But moving on to products that are available. Next up is this L'Oreal Bambi Eye Oversized Mascara. This retails for $9 and it claims to lift and curl lashes to create an oversized lash look. It's a clump resistant high charge formula, lifting brush with long and short bristles to separate lash by lash for defined lashes. When I saw this launched, I was debating on whether or not I wanted to try it because the original Bambi formula flaked on me so badly. When I first put it on, I was like, wow, this is beautiful, but by the end of the day, I had like raccoon eyes. And so I was concerned that I would have the same issue with this one. Did not flake at all on me. At the end of the day, it didn't transfer on me. So I definitely prefer this to the original Bambi Eyes mascara. I really like the wand. It has longer bristles at the end and then shorter bristles. It's definitely a good volumizing wand. And the formula is pretty wet, but it's also really thick. So it really grabs onto every lash and applies a thick coat of mascara, and it looks voluminous really quickly, but it is pretty wet. So in my experience, the more wet a volumizing formula is, the more clump prone it is. Because if you have a drier formula and you go in with a coat on each eye, by the time you go back for the second coat, the first eye has already dried and you can really build on top of it without all your lashes kind of clumping together. Versus a formula like this where after you do one coat on each eye, when you go in for your second coat, the first isn't yet dried, and so it's more prone to clumping and kind of sticking together. So I would say it is a little bit clump prone. If you don't like any clumps in your mascara, I wouldn't try this. But if you don't mind clumpiness, you don't mind a little bit of a wet formula, this really does pack a punch. It does a great job of lengthening, a decent job of curling, and a great job at volumizing. So I will definitely continue reaching for this, especially when I'm postpartum and I'm in a hurry, because formulas like this make it look like you've applied 3 or 4 coats with just one because of the thickness of it. So another win for me with that little caveat of building it can get pretty clumpy. All right, next up is the Hyper Easy Automatic Pencil Liner by Maybelline. This comes in 3 different shades. I have the shade Deep Brown, but it also comes in medium brown and black. This retails for $8, and like it says, it's a super precise eyeliner. The size of it is about the same as a brow pencil, like the NYX Micro Brow Pencil. If someone just like handed this to me, I would think it was a brow pencil because of just how thin it is. And I was really excited by the idea of being able to create a really thin line with a pencil, but I have to say that this was kind of a fail for me. On the lower lash line, I like it better than I do on the upper lash line because I can really push up into my lashes and smudge it around. Versus on the upper lash line, it's really hard to get perfectly on your upper lash line. So I found that instead of it being a really thin line on my lash line, it created a gap between my lash line and the eyeliner because it's really hard to get right in there. And then I would have to kind of color in between where this line was in my lash line because otherwise it looked totally unnatural, and then I'm left with a thick line that I had to work harder for than I would have had I just used a little bit of a thicker pencil. I don't find that this is really great in the waterline. It's also a little bit more uncomfortable to put in your waterline because it is so thin and pointy. So I like this in theory, but in practice, I really didn't enjoy it. All right, next up is one of the winners. Other than this Kiko Milano eyeshadow palette, which is a total Charlotte Tilbury dupe, this is the other winner in this haul. Oh my gosh, I love this, you guys. These Juvia's Place bronzer palettes are stunning. They're expensive. I posted on Instagram to ask you guys if you thought it was worth it, if I should try it or not, because they retail for $18 and you guys voted for me to try it. So I went and bought it. I used the Ulta 350 off coupon. So I got it for $14, which felt a lot more reasonable, but it comes with a nice big mirror. There are 5 different palettes to choose from, and I went with the shade Tan. So there are 2 lighter ones before you get to this one. There's light, there's medium, and then there's tan. And if you have trouble finding your perfect bronzer shade, definitely go check out the colors offered by this collection. I feel like it is one of the most inclusive collections of bronzer that I have ever seen, which can definitely be an issue at the drugstore, both if you have a really deep skin tone and if you have a really fair skin tone. I feel like bronzers are mostly catered for light to medium skin tones, but this range has everyone covered, so super impressed by that. And each one of the palettes comes with more of a cool tone shade and more of a warm tone shade. So it's your contour and bronzer in one, or if you just prefer a more cool tone bronzer, you have that option in here. These are buttery, soft, so blendable. I cannot rave about these bronzers enough. This is one of my new favorite bronzer formulas for sure. These have no shimmer whatsoever, so if you have more oily skin or if you just don't like that glowy bronzer look, these are perfect. I feel like this is gonna be my go-to bronzer palette this summer. 10 out of 10, recommend. And then last but not least is the e.l.f. Jelly Pop Glow Stick. This retails for $8 and it only comes in this one shade. It's called a universal shade, so they claim it'll work on everyone. And I can definitely see why. This goes on almost like a dew to the skin. It's almost like just applying a balm on top of your skin. It's not like a shimmery highlighter. It's more of just a wet, dewy look. So if that's what you like, this is an excellent product for that. However, I think the way you apply this is really important because it is almost like a balm, like a lip balm. And the first couple times I used it, I did my makeup, I did my foundation, my bronzer, my blush, and then I went to apply it right on the top of my cheekbone, and it applied beautifully, but it completely rubbed off the foundation and bronzer that I had sitting underneath, and it created this like stripe that was really hard to blend out because it was that balmy texture. So I quickly learned that the way to apply this is with your fingers or with a brush, and just in dabbing motions either with your finger or the brush, blend it out instead of going straight onto your skin with it because it will disturb the makeup you have underneath it. It's infused with a watermelon extract, which is what makes it hydrating and also what makes it smell just like watermelon. Pretty strong scent, but you don't smell it at all once it's on your face, and it hasn't irritated my skin in any way. So like I said, if you like that more kind of Glossier vibe or undone look where it just looks like wet skin rather than a traditional highlighter, I think you'll really enjoy it. It's perfect for that. But if you have really oily skin and don't like anything sticky on your face or anything that doesn't fully set, then just be aware that this never fully sets. It's almost like a dew that just sits on top of your skin. All right, and then last but not least is the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Plump Lip Gloss. This retails for $9 and it is infused with hyaluronic acid. I got mine in the shade Lucid Glow and I love this shade. I'm gonna apply it now because I forgot to apply it before the video, just to show you how gorgeous this is. It's got this kind of flat applicator, very similar to the other Infallible lip gloss, but it has this golden sheen to it that is just beautiful. It's super comfortable and lightweight, but it does have a tiny bit of stick to it, and it has a little bit of a cooling, tingling sensation, nothing too intense whatsoever, but it does have a little bit of that plumping effect. I love that it's infused with hyaluronic acid and it's actually hydrating the lips rather than just making them look good, and this color is everything. It's like this salmon-y color with a little bit of gold running through it. But I will say the stick does kind of bother me because that's something I'm really particular about, is whether or not my glosses stick on me. And the more that this dries down, the more, I don't know if you guys can see, it starts sticking together. So if lip gloss sticking is a no-go for you, I would say skip this one and go with like the Undone Beauty one, which has absolutely no stick whatsoever, or the Milani lip gloss. I think there are better ones out there, though I do really love this color. And that is everything. Those are all of the new products that I have been testing. I hope you guys found this video helpful and maybe found something that looks really appealing to you. Like I said, I will keep you posted on these Kiko Milano eyeshadow palettes if they come back. I really hope that they do. But the big winner for me in this video is the bronzer palette by Juvia's Place. I highly recommend it. And they also launched a blush palette, so now I want to go pick that up too because of how impressed I am with that bronzer. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one.